Welcome to the channel for the first time viewers. Welcome back for my existing subscribers. This video has been very long overdue. It's just something that I've written down tons of times. I've probably written this down about 10-15 times. Never actually delivered it. Scrapped the paper, scrapped the OneNotes. But essentially we're going to be covering my review of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So we are going to start with the campaign on this game, which I felt was phenomenal. It took me about 5.5-6 hours to finish it. Definitely something I recommend for every single person. The campaign alone would be worth about $20 to $30 of the overall purchase, and this is a very feature-filled game. There's a lot of things that I'll touch base on about the multiplayer that could have been fixed or changed, but you know that's for another segment of this video. But for the campaign, I definitely recommend it. I'm going to throw some campaign gameplay on there. You really feel what's going on. It gives you an alternate kind of like a beginning, more like if you played Red Dead Redemption 2, it's kind of like that to Modern Warfare that we remember, right? So it kind of gives you it's not necessarily a prequel, it's happening up until, and it's kind of like one series of events. I'm going to try to keep this relatively spoiler free, but I'm not going to go to any crazy lengths, and kind of watch what I'm saying if it's going to be meaningful to the review. So overall, it takes you from start to finish. You're with Captain Price alongside him, and you kind of go along for the ride pretty much towards what the events that lead up to the original Modern Warfare, where you have like Soap and everybody else, and you kind of get to see that come into fruition. The story and the pacing is very good. I love the action scenes, and then especially, I forget the name of the mission, but the one where you're in the house at night, it's actually early on. That mission is straight up amazing, dude. Like, I have to say that's one of those missions that you can just play over and over and over and over and over again because it's so awesome. You pretty much have to go through this dark house with your night vision goggles on and clear from top to bottom. So definitely pay attention when you're playing that one. It's just one of those things that really stands out. It's a moment in gaming, I think. Overall, the story after that it's traditional Call of Duty, so it's nothing out of the ordinary, nothing so crazy that you'll be like, oh my god. But overall, it's solid campaign overall. Now let's talk about the multiplayer, because there isn't much to say about the campaign other than it's really good. The pacing is good. It's kind of short, but it shouldn't have been longer. So if they made it longer, it would have been like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, where it could have ended halfway, but they just added a lot of filler content. Now the multiplayer, I waited this long to do the review because every year Call of Duty likes to release a game that's decent, and then about December time, when everybody's released their reviews and the Christmas purchases are done, they do something crazy to it, like they drop a supply drop system, or they drop some crazy stuff. The only little bit of shenanigans they did this time around was they added a watch to the game that lets you know what your KD was in the game, like your kills and your deaths. Right now, if you play a game, some game modes will tell you how many times you died, but most game modes will only tell you how many kills you've gotten, and then the things that are pertinent to objectives, like how many caps you've got, how many defends you've got. But if you have this watch on, it tells you how many times at all times you've died, as well as how many kills you've gotten. So that was about $25, which is mind-numbing. But anyways, that was like the worst they did so far in my eyes. The other thing I would add is that the battle pass that they added is not the end of the world. It's not terrible, but it takes way too long. It should be with that rate, it should be 50 tiers. It should not be 100 tiers, because I've played this game a lot, and I'm telling you, bro, it's just way too long. The battle pass is just, they gotta give you more XP. They gotta link it to just actual points instead of time. They gotta do something different, because it's not working. When they did the double XP for the battle pass, it was a decent rate. I gained about like 10 to 11 levels during my times I was playing. I'm not gonna put in exorbitant amount of times to finish any battle pass. It's just not worth it to me. Like, I like playing the game, I like just chilling, having a good time, and I'm not gonna kill myself to finish some battle pass just because, you know, the seasons get ready to end. Like, especially if it's long for what I feel is no reason. There's it just didn't need to be this way. Another cool thing about the pass, though, that I will add, which is a positive, is that there's actual COD points in it, which if you pre-ordered, you got 1,100 COD points, so that's like $11. Pass costs $10. There's like 1,300 bucks. Yeah, 13 bucks, 1,300 points, or 13 bucks in COD points in the pass as well, from what has been gathered. Right now, I'm back up to about 900. So with another, I think the next 2 levels, I'll get the last 100 coins I need to buy the next battle pass, provided they make it $10 again. They did also have a battle pass option that gave you a couple of tier skips in the very beginning. I didn't really care too much about that, but if I did take that, I would have been at like level 85 right now. But right now I'm at like 65, so it is what it is. Now, that's the battle pass. Way too long. The actual concept of the game is not that bad as far as how they decided to monetize it. There's a lot of different cosmetic bundles that you can buy, and they're not really forced upon you, although the store kind of pops up when you first load the game and go into multiplayer. Like, they add little ads on the side. It's not the end of the world. We get what they're trying to do. They want to make some money, but to me this is fair. I've already unlocked the DLC weapons, like the Holger and the it's pretty much the MTAR, what do they call it, the Ram 7. Yeah, so I've already unlocked those, which I felt like you should have, instead of like an operator, maybe like the gun level 1, and then level 15 the second gun, and level 5 the operator. Like, get all the most important stuff, just get it out the way, you know what I mean? And then just have the cosmetics, and they do have some cool skins. Like level 90 something is the white MTAR variant, so I think that's pretty cool. All right, let's talk about the actual gameplay. It's already been a little bit, but now, you know, we got the campaign out the way. We got the okie doke that they usually try to pull at the end of the year out the way, and it's not that bad this year. So now let's talk about the actual core gameplay, in my opinion. When it comes to the map design is decent. I actually like it. Some people hate it because there's no 3-lane maps, and for the better players that kind of memorize spawns and memorize timings, it's throwing them off because they got to pay a lot more attention. They got to move a lot more slowly because now they got to check elevation, they have to check different corners, they have to check nooks and crannies. For me, coming from Siege, I left Call of Duty, went to start playing Siege. That's all Siege is anyways, so for me it's a little bit something I'm already used to. But for the faster paced Call of Duty, it definitely forces you to slow down. They did tweak the 7.25 a little bit and lowered pretty much the damage range of that thing. The thing was a sniper rifle with the widest hitbox ever. Like, you just, anything down a corridor would be dead, right? So they switched it up, made it so that you didn't have to die to that thing every single time somebody had it. You still get some people using it because it is still a very strong weapon, but it's not broken as it used to be, where you can beam somebody from across the map with it with one shot. I feel like there's a lot more weapon variety in this game as compared to previous COD games as well, because the game I have some of the highest level of experience with it would be Infinite Warfare, because I played GBs on that one. I was past the max rank, and I like playing that game even though people hated it. That's the one Call of Duty that I put in a lot of time, and I got pretty good at it. But yeah, I would say, comparatively speaking to like Infinite Warfare, everybody used the MV4 and they used the K-bar. And then every now and then you'd see somebody using one of the submachine guns, but for the most part, those were the 2 guns used. This one, you see the MP5 a lot, MP7 sometimes, which is there's a lot of solid guns. I've been seeing a lot of the FAMAS lately. I use the AK a lot just because I was trying to get a gold, and I just have some setups that I like. You see the SCAR sometimes. Definitely see some M4s, but usually people have kind of moved on from the M4 and started picking up some of the other guns. You don't see the M13 get used much, and you don't see the, I think it's the TS, whatever it is, the 141 gun. You don't see that too much. It's kind of like one of the beginner guns, but anyways, the Odin every now and then the LMGs are kind of all over the place. You just see all different kinds of LMGs get used. Shotguns, you see all the different shotguns being used this time. So I feel like as far as the weapon depth, there's a lot more variety, like I said earlier, of weapons being used. It's not just the same 2. Map design, I already touched base on. It's one of those things where I like it, but some people don't like the different aspects of having to look around and not being able to rush down just any kind of way you want, right? Normally people with fast reaction time, they only have to worry about the left, forward, and maybe the right if they're going down the middle lane. But this one, they got to look behind them, they have to look above, and I can get why it could be frustrating. So if you're not ready to kind of look at the maps for what they are, and there are some terrible maps too, like Piccadilly is straight ass trash. If that map didn't exist, the world would be a better place. I'm 100% convinced. But Piccadilly is just one of those very, very bad ones, right? Shoe House is fun because it's very compact. It is a 3-lane map. And then what else? I can't think of the name of it, but it's the one with the bazaar. I think it's like something bizarre. Anyways, it's like a little Indian shop with an electric shop and a barber shop. I like that map just because there's a little bit of verticality to it, and there is a lot of different ways that you can, or there are a lot of different ways you can traverse the map. So I kind of like that about it. And there's just a lot of good maps to me because I do like to play a little bit more on the cautious side and kind of maneuver a different type of way. I don't really just rush in and, you know, slap left, slap right, and then just like pick everybody off. So like I said, I moved over to Siege, and this reminds me more of that as far as that goes. Gameplay mechanics, let's talk about the mounting a little bit. The melee is kind of weird, but the mounting I actually really like. It kind of like levels the head glitching that used to happen. So to give you a benefit of, if you mount, then you have more accuracy and less recoil, right? But if you don't mount, you can pretty much control where your head level would be a little bit more. Because when you mount, you're pretty much like shoulder up, you're above the cover, so you're easier to pick off. But your aim is like a laser beam, so that's the trade-off you got to decide. And when you don't mount, you could pretty much still head glitch like you used to. As long as the reticle of your gun is above the item you're using for cover, you can shoot right past it. So that's like one of those things that I feel like they quietly did. To some people look at it as Rainbow Six Siege, like, oh, you have leaning in the game, and that's stupid. But for me, I look at it as a way that they used to quietly combat head glitching, because they want this to be a more tactical game. At the end of the day, this is not a tactical game. It's just Call of Duty all over again. Some of the game modes are pretty fun. TDM is kind of You get some games that are just super slow, but that is just the nature of the beast. People with these types of maps will be moving a lot more slowly. They'll just be, some people find a good spot and they won't move ever, and that is the one that everybody hates, when people don't move around at all. Because you get RPG'd from certain windows, claymores from when you try to push, and then the camper is watching a camper's back who's watching another camper who has a crossfire on that camper. So it's like a four-way circle jerk of just you trying to get to one place and then them taking turns killing you as you're on your way back. So that happens sometimes. But when you have everybody that's moderately aggressive, then what tends to happen is that you finish the game with no issues. But when you have the other aspect of it where everybody's kind of camping, then you end up with games that are like 56-34 is the final score. And those make you just want to switch game modes. So I definitely recommend trying out some of the other game modes that are more objective based, like Kill Confirmed, Search and Destroy, because more people move around in those modes because you have to. There's an objective tied to it. I don't like Domination because these spawns are tragic. They're just really poorly laid out. So people learn them really quickly. That's A. B, they're really easy to just like spawn trap people. So if you don't have teammates that are actively, like all 6 of you or all 10 of you, if you're playing 10v10, are actively trying to get out of spawn, once the spawn trap happens, you can literally just sit there and get spawn trapped the entire game. So they'll just cap A, B, or C, B, and yeah, that's it for you. So you'll die 100 times. The other thing I've run into is like headquarters. That happens sometimes too. If you don't have a good team on headquarters, people will just trap you in your spawn, and then until somebody messes up and forces it to flip, that's it. You guys just die on the way out, and they just have one person capturing the headquarters, and it can be rough. So spawns need a little bit of work. My overall rating of this game, as far as like should you buy it or should you not buy it, if you're done with Call of Duty, like fully done, I don't know if this will be the one to bring you back. So I don't know. If you get it on a really good deal, it'd be good. It'd be worth to try, at least if you got it for like $35 to $45. It'd be worth the buy at that point, I could say safely, because at least you'll have the campaign, which I really enjoyed. I really like I said, the pacing, and just the campaign it feels good to play. There's a sniper rifle mission too that's just fucking wow. So look forward to that. And then, like I said, going through that house, those 2 missions. Multiplayer is more or less the same Call of Duty. There's no more prestige level. It's kind of just officer ranks. So you get to level 56 and then you start ranking up, and there's little challenges. And apparently this is what it seems like it's going to be. From season to season, they're going to go ahead and reset it back to 56 instead of 155, which is the cap. Yeah, like I said, this might not be the thing to bring you back. This might not be the one. But if you're not done with Call of Duty and you just haven't picked this up because you're waiting to see what some people have to say about it, especially people that have been playing it for a little bit, I got about 6 days playtime. And yeah, I would say this is a safe buy for those of you that already like Call of Duty, and they don't try to rob you too much as far as how they're monetizing it. There's some very cool things in there, but I would never spend the money on, and I don't have to. Like, I don't feel like I have to. I just would like them, but at the end of the day, they're just kind of like, they're mostly cosmetic. So just some of them look cool. All right. Hopefully this long-winded video helps you at least a little bit. I'll try to throw some gameplay of the campaign and the multiplayer in there. But overall, goodbye. If you get, especially if you get it on sale. If you get it on sale, then you've won. If you pay full price, you know, you gotta know what you get into. All right, you guys be easy. I'll catch you in the next video.
Let's go, brother.
So you can't kill a rat that continuously runs across the floor.
I'm hit.
I'm gonna get. I think I'll get a chopper gunner.
Horseman 3-1 arriving on station, ready for tasking.
Where's your vehicle?
Kilo on station, standing by for target.
What do they just keep pushing middle?
I don't know what
Builders
I
2-0,
do.
go to big button.